Hi, grade sevens. What we're going to be doing on our virtual school weeks is working with the science department, and we are going to be creating an interdisciplinary unit, which means you are going to be using content and skills from both subject areas. And you are going to create a final project. Hopefully, this will be back in the classroom that is going to combine what you know and what you're able to do in both subject areas. So, what we're going to start with today is teaching you how to do something called Cornell Notes. And this is a really useful method of note taking. And if you can get this down now in grade 7 and use it all through middle and high school, it will serve you very well on to university as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So you will take your piece of paper and you're going to construct sort of an off-center eye like this. So notice how the lines are. Okay, so you're going to draw a line down here, and you're going to put most of the page, about a third of the page for this part. And then this part is going to be questions, okay? And you're going to put a header here, your name, the course, the date, all right? Now, this essential question, what you want to do is take whatever the article is, or the chapter in the textbook, or the seminar that you're listening to, or the lecture, or whatever it might be, and instead of a statement, turn it into a question. So, for example, instead of saying tips for success, ask yourself, what are some tips for success? And this is the essential question that all the notes are going to answer. All right. So on this side, you create questions. Okay. And then on this side, you write the notes that answer these questions. Okay. Here is a summary of the entire lecture or video or whatever it is you're taking notes on. And this is from the Counseling Services Program. So, this is why it's important to take notes, because by day 2, if you do not think about or review your notes, you lose 50 to 80% of what you've learned. By day 30, if you don't think or review your notes, you remember 2 to 3%. So, for those of you who don't look at your notes until you have a test the night before, you're starting from 2 or 3%. If you go back and review those notes on an ongoing basis, you aren't going to have to cram the night before a test. The value of Cornell Notes. Students who take no notes or some notes retain less than 59% of what was learned. Students who take and use Cornell Notes as a study tool retain 90 to 100% of what was learned. So not only are Cornell Notes important for your upcoming project combining science and Lang Lit when you're doing your research, but it's also important in all of your subjects as an ongoing study tool. So this is an acronym that you should think about to help you study and revise for tests. Set up your paper in the method of Cornell Notes. Take notes. Apply your thinking to the notes, and we'll talk more about that later. Reflect, revise, and review your notes. So as I showed you before, you want a proper heading. You save a third of the left-hand side of the paper for questions by folding or drawing a vertical line. And this is what I was talking about that before, the essential question. So take that statement. So let's say the first article in science you're looking at is about microplastics, the dangers of microplastics. So ask yourself, what are the dangers of microplastics? So here we are. This is how you set it up. You have an off-center I. Take your notes right on the right side of the paper. Abbreviate words in a way that is going to make sense to you. And this is really important, it is to paraphrase. If you write out entire sentences, passages that you don't understand, that is of very little use to you. Get into the habit of trying to summarize and paraphrase things in your own words. Skip at least 2 lines between ideas and try and use symbols, pictures, diagrams as much as you possibly can. So this is what, there's your essential question, your heading, and your notes. Okay, so what are tips for success? Ask questions, keeps you engaged in the lesson. Teacher sees you as a good student, sit up front, keep you focused, take notes, keeps you engaged, something to study, get help when needed, ask teacher, after school tutoring, tutorials. And then, why should I ask questions? Heading, ask questions. Well, here you're answering your questions, right? Where should I sit? Sit up front. Why should I take notes? Keeps you engaged. What kind of help can I get? Ask teacher. Within 24 hours of taking notes, review your notes and write questions on the left side of the page. Now, of course, you can also do this while you're taking notes as well, but the idea is that if you keep going back, refreshing your memory after, let's say you give yourself 24 hours, you go back, and this is proven by science. It will bring those ideas to the forefront of your brain. So, again, the idea is if you keep doing this on an ongoing basis, then you don't have to cram for tests. Reflect on your notes. That is super important to go back and take a look at notes. Now, you're using these notes for a research project, but again, you can use notes in any class. And even if the teacher doesn't say take notes, you should be taking notes. Okay? Oftentimes, when teachers do tell students to take notes, students don't take notes. But if you want to be a good student and have good grades, it is up to you to be proactive and take these steps. And then the summary. So add a summary to your notes, answer the essential question as your topic sentence, and turn each chunk of information into supporting sentences. So look at this summary. There are several ways to be successful in class. First, you should ask questions. Second, you should sit in front of the class. You should also take notes and get help when you need it. So there was your question, and you're answering the question. Revise your notes. Review notes with a partner. Add details that you missed. Look in your textbook. Add details from the book to your notes. And this is the review part. So this is why you construct the page in this manner, so that you can turn it over. So you can see how you've got the questions here, and then the answers are over here. So fold your notes so the questions show, but the notes don't. Quiz yourself or work with another student to quiz each other. And that is the end. So now we're going to take a look at an article, and you're going to watch another video on doing Cornell Notes.